All right, so we are currently about to take the Miata to the shop. Patrick's gonna help me out. We're gonna take it today on Friday. At the end of the day, we're gonna start it, and hopefully we're done by Monday. So let's see how this goes. I'm gonna follow Patrick. He's gonna take the Miata, and then we'll see how this goes. Vouchers is done, man. Oh my god, the amount of oil on these spark plugs is insane. It's not looking good. It's not too bad. Oh, that's good. Patrick! Ah! Oh god. This is not what to approve. We got that motor right there, right?
That motor.
We got that motor over there, right?
That motor.
Yeah, so we gotta take that one out. We gotta put it over there.
Take that one out, motor.
Put that one out and put it over there.
We can do that.
We can do that, yeah.
We can do that.
Alright, so what we gotta do first? What we gotta do?
Get down off this forklift.
Alright, so we gotta drain fluids, right?
Drain all the fluids.
All the engine fluids. Jack up your car. Then we gotta drain the engine oil, drain the coolant, drain the power steering fluid that's been dormant for years because I don't use power steering ever. And then get rid of the ants. Alright, so this is gonna be a collage because I forgot my camera, so whatever footage you get, this is the footage you get. Have fun with this. Getting this stuff off, you know what I mean? Oh, yeah. What, 6,000 miles?
I say 63.45.
63.45? Oh,
Yeah.
I'll take that.
Taste it, see what you think. Num nums?
Ooh, I see Patrick. I think you sit down. Woo! There you go.
Out of the grave!
Woo! Did it. Weight reduction.
Keep moving like the scars aren't even there. It's in the air like a blazing flare. Just stare 'cause the flames will burn us. I thought you were the one for me. That's why I gave you everything. Held you close by the stormy seas. Oh, you meant the world to me. I used to kiss your head when you cried for me. Hold your hand while the pain was over. Keep you warm by the roaring sea. You meant the world to me.
It was at this moment that he knew. He f***ed up.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
No point in blaming you, you did not know. Oh, I thought you were the one for me. That's why I give you everything. Held you close by the stormy seas. Oh, you meant the world to me.
Alright, so it is currently day 3 on the engine swap right now. Day 1, we really just got the motor out. Day 2, I cleaned up the engine bay and swapped out the accessories over to the new engine. It's day 3, I'm tired as heck. I'm supposed to have some help today, but you know, stuff happens. I have to get this engine in the car because I can't have 2 engines lying around at work. So I'm gonna do it by myself. Pray for me. Let's get to it.
No point in blaming you, you did not know. I give you everything. Held you close by the stormy seas. Oh, you meant the world to me.
The swing at a wrecking ball, and I prayed for my downfall, and I found a way to reconcile. Cause in my heart it's not worthwhile. It's a bloody battlefield where some go down, others heal. In the end, it's all the same. All you can do is play the game. Oh, do we say goodbye? Refuse to question why. I'm sad to say I'm sorry, so lie. Pretend that you're okay. Swear that you will stay. Keep trying for one day.
Oh yeah, so that was probably the hardest engine install that I've done so far. Probably because it's a smaller engine bay than I'm used to, and it's rear-wheel drive and it's manual. I've done a few, rear-wheel drive engines, just pulling the engine out with an automatic, and they're pretty easy to line up. And once you get the dials in, it's pretty straightforward. Then you just tighten up the torque converter and you're all good. But with the manual, you really got to angle it in perfectly, and then the gear mesh has to be perfect. And it was a little struggle getting that together. And then the way I'm doing it too, I'm using a warehouse loader, so with just a ratchet strap. So that didn't give me a lot of flexibility, not a lot of mobility. I figured out a couple ways to ratchet the strap so that way it will give me a little bit of tilt where I needed it. And then the hardest thing was getting the engine mount, the 2 engine mounts in. The passenger side is a slotted hole, so it's a lot easier to get in. But once I got that one in, the driver's side hole was just 2 holes, and the top hole is the wrong hole. That's where like a guide pin or some kind of guide sits on there. The bottom hole is big enough for the bolt to go through. Once I got the engine tilted enough, just getting that on was just so hard. So I think it's a lot with the geometry of the car, the way it's sitting. So what I ended up doing is I unbolted 2 of the brackets to the engine mounts off, so that way I can tilt it so I can get it in the hole, and then lower the engine slowly and get those holes back lined up, and then it all lined up perfectly. I see why a lot of guys, when they do Miata engines, they pull the whole engine and transmission out, because it's not that much harder to do. In the past, I've seen it, I've just had a lot more better experience just doing an engine. Don't have to deal with, you know, drivetrain issues, you know, pulling out the drive shaft. I've never really messed around with the TPK on this, and I know they can be kind of dicey taking them apart. Then you have to deal with draining the transmission and also refilling the transmission. And I just serviced it not too long ago, and I didn't want to go through the process of draining it and filling it again. So I went with the engine, just the engine pulling, and if I could redo it, I'd probably go and just pull the transmission too. But at that point, pulling down the transmission too, which is going to be extra work, and then mating them together, and then getting the engine and transmission tilted enough with my setup probably would have been a bit sketchy, and by myself wouldn't have been that easy. So it went as well as I could expect it to. So I also left the intake off for multiple reasons. One of them being I wanted to reuse the old intake. After inspecting both, you know, and after inspecting the engine, you know, it's clear that the engine was running very badly because the valve seals were leaking so badly that it was making the motor misfire. So I know the fuel injectors are good. I know the fuel pressure regulator is good. I know the throttle body is good. I know the throttle body sensor or the throttle position sensor is good. A lot of that is good. So I wanted to reuse all that. I have no idea how well, you know, this engine ran before. I knew it ran and started up. It had good compression, so that wasn't much of an issue for me. If you look at the new engine's intake versus the old engine intake, you can see there's a lot of rust buildup. Even the idle air control, one of the idle air control valves, there's a lot of rust in it. So I just didn't want to use any of that and go through headaches. I'd rather use with the stuff that is good to go. And also leaving the intake off gave me so much more room to get to some of the bolts. Yeah, I just gotta keep doing the bell housing bolts now, get the engine mount nuts on, and just get cranking along on this. It's 4 o'clock on a Sunday. I have to go to work tomorrow. But next week is Cars and Coffee. I do want to take this car to Cars and Coffee. I do have a pretty tight deadline. I did it to myself by going on vacation. I should have just done it last week, but it is what it is. All the little things that I fought on the way out yesterday, I have to fight on the way in. Hopefully things unbolt a lot easier, or bolt in a lot easier than they unbolted. So let's get to it, and let's bring out some jams.
Swim no more, I'm sinking. Take me to a world of silver. No more heartbreaks, tears, painkillers. Take me somewhere unfamiliar. Bring me back to where we started out. Get me out of now. To where we started out. Get me out of now. To where we started out. Oh no.
Hey guys, that will be all for this video. I'm running out of daylight and I'm running out of battery in the camera, so I'm gonna cut it right here. Hope you enjoyed the video so far. It's a little bit more vlog style, a little less in how-to. It's kind of hard to get angles and stuff like that, but you know, I do what I do for you guys. Please don't forget to hit the like, leave a comment, a critique, whatever you guys would like, and have yourself a blessed day. Bye.